All right, it's Thursday night. We've done it again. We moved to Thursday. I was out of town. It's podcast night. We are doing one that we've talked about for a long time, and now we're finally doing it. Kevin Murdock is here with us. You're back. This is probably your seventh or eighth.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and check.
Glad you're here. We are doing MTV Unplugged, top five performances and by song. So the rules were you pick your artist, one song they did that you liked, MTV Unplugged. Wookie's joining us, and tonight he's here every week. Love him. He's got a list. He's going to play along with us, and this could be good. MTV Unplugged was amazing for so many years, and we can get into that a little bit later. But we just thought it'd be a really fun topic to do. And it was sort of inspired because the Eric Clapton Unplugged, which was the daddy of all the Unplugged episodes. Would y'all agree with that?
You know how I feel about slow hands, so
It's 100%.
I'm in that camp.
And they are releasing that in IMAX now. They've just
No,
released it.
not in IMAX.
It's not in IMAX.
It's just it was in select theaters.
Okay.
And I think they've actually put the whole Unplugged series on Paramount Plus.
Oh boy. Okay, it is okay.
Mhm.
So when we heard they were re-releasing the Eric Clapton thing, we're like, what a great time to do MTV Unplugged. And Kevin was all in on it. He's a fan, and we are too. So we're going to get into that. This should be a good conversation tonight, and it's going to make some great music for the playlist we'll put out. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors: Spices Smokehouse Crackers. What?
You're giving me that look.
Yeah. What? What?
Well, last night I went to Wendy's. It was a cold night, and I had my smokehouse poppers.
Yeah.
You know, when I get home with some Wendy's chili, I like to pop it like it's hot.
Pop it like it's hot. So we're not going to copyright that. That's there for you, Lynn. Like it's hot. I mean, that's good, right?
I couldn't think of anything better.
All right. So give them prop. Brindley's Family Pharmacy, of course, they do a great job. Always use the local pharmacy, and they treat you like family there. And of course, Busted Oak Bourbon Society. Percy and I will be in the bar Saturday. Kevin comes, sees us quite a bit, and we'll have a good time. We will more than likely uh, have this playlist on, depending on what kind of ball games we got. So
There's not like I don't think any like crazy.
nothing, no
early
no
games.
really earth shakers. So yeah, come.
I mean, this past week we had a 1 versus 2 matchup. So
We did, and we all know how that worked out. And it comes to you Saturday because we're going to be playing a lot of good music from MTV Unplugged. So,
and if you're looking for the Unplugged, you might as well put down the projector and put it on the big screen.
oh, that'd be nice. Good, right there. All right, we should, we could. All right, let's get started. Honorable mentions. Percy, what you got? I'm real interested in everybody's list tonight.
You know, like, I want to start out the first episode of this. I didn't realize this, but it aired in '89.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I guess I had forgot that it went that far back, and it aired for 10 years, and then after that, for like 8 or 9 more years, they had what did they call it, 2.0.
Yeah, that
And
one is good.
it kind of fell off the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a shame because the MTV Unplugged series to me, was awesome.
My first honorable mention is this will surprise most people, but and I can safely say this, it's the only song that I like by Nirvana. And it's Where Did You Sleep Last Night?
That's a good one.
I know Leadbelly song.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I like it, because it was a Leadbelly song, and I'm a blues fan.
Yeah, you are. All right, good choice. Nirvana making a Percy list.
And this is another one.
Twice.
That's twice.
Twice, yeah.
Another one that's going to surprise you is Bob Dylan when he did With God on Our Side.
I love that song. It is one of my favorite Dylans, and I only learned of it through Unplugged. It's fantastic.
And this was on his 64 album, The Times. They Are Changing. And he said it had the same melody as the Irish folk song, The Merry Month of May.
Wow. Okay.
And he told this story about when he went to it was like a general or something. I don't know if he was playing like USO. Anyway, they have buffer music and stuff.
Yes.
And he kept playing. I think it was Joan Baez's version of that song. And the general told him to stop playing it.
Whoa, really?
Yes. Times were different back
They
then.
were. They were.
But
They were. Good choice, man. That's a great song.
And my
The
last
cavalry came and the Indians died.
honorable mention is kind of gets lost because they didn't really have a whole album released from Unplugged, but it was Poison who had talked dirty to me.
Oh man, get out of here!
And CC could pick up that acoustic guitar and talk to you.
He could. He could. So he's to me, CC. Good choice, man. Man, Poison never entered my mind on the Unplugged deal.
Honestly, I've heard it really, but never would have thought you would have went that direction.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your honorable mentions?
Oh, I forget we're going left now.
Yeah, I know. Let's go this way. It's been the younger one. You're back. You're in the new studios. We go this way. Took me. You can ask Percy. I screwed up for the first 3 weeks. I didn't know which was going.
It's a new concept.
Right.
So my very first one is Bryan Adams.
Okay.
Now, which one is going to be?
Kevin.
It is going to be Heaven.
It's job on that Unplugged. You did.
That's my favorite Bryan Adams Unplugged song.
Right.
Honestly, it is mine too. And I have a little bit of backstory about this 8th grade dance. Whenever I talk about
This is really mean.
Whenever I talk about Unplugged, I'll go ahead and throw this out there. These songs mean so much to me from a day-to-day basis in my life experience. That's where my premise is on every single one of these songs.
I like it.
Every single one of these touched me in a personal situation.
Good.
So Heaven, Bryan Adams, 8th grade dance. I'm not naming any names. I'm not naming any names. I love this song. Personal connection. I can't get any deeper without naming names.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's 8th grade.
Yeah,
Well, you know what?
Yeah, we don't.
T.J. Shepherd's woman asked him, did he want to go to heaven?
T.J. Shepherd.
Wanted to go. Keep talking.
Good boy. All right. What you got next, Kevin?
Okay, this is a little bit off the wall. It's a newer band, but it was Don McLean, Lori.
Don McLean.
It's 1971 remake.
Okay.
But the only reason I picked this song because I love the song so
Okay.
much.
All right.
Performance, not really that big into me. But Killing Me Softly, which was an amazing song in itself.
It was.
But it was
Roberta Flack.
It was Roberta Flack, correct. But it was the 2010 pop, indie, English,
Right.
those kind of bands.
Yes.
It's Bastille.
Still, yeah. Bastille.
Bastille.
Spelled Bastille.
That's correct. You remember the extra L.
Yeah. Yes.
But their version of it in that Unplugged was absolutely amazing. I chose it song based only.
Okay. Good.
Only.
Good.
Next honorable mention. Sorry.
You're good.
Aha.
Did they do an Unplugged?
Yes.
Aha.
They did.
Oh,
Take on me.
I mean,
Honestly, they broke it down so much. It wasn't so techno. It wasn't so
right.
over the top.
Yeah.
As you like to hear it on the
Well,
radio.
it's stripped. It's like, when the Stones did their stripped album Unplugged, it's all stripped down to the musician. The
That's
singer.
what Well, the Stones were smart enough to say, "Hey, y'all are all doing this unplugged shit. We're just gonna do a tour."
Yeah, called Strip.
And they did the European tour called Strip. And if you've never seen that concert,
And honestly, it
it's
took off.
great.
Yeah, it,
So many people.
it did. Yeah. If you got asked to do Unplugged back in the day, then you were on top of the world. So, all right.
I agree.
Is
That
that
was
all
my
yours?
three. That was my
That's your
three.
three? All right. Want to say Unplugged was awesome. And I think, I don't, I'm not 100% on this, Percy. You might have to help me, but didn't the whole concept for doing Unplugged come from when John Bon Jovi and Ricky
That was
Santoro,
the origination.
that was the
of-
origination?
Yes.
They came out, I think it was the MTV Music Awards thing, and they did just them acoustic, Richie on acoustic, and John Bon Jovi, and they did Wanted Dead or Alive.
But it wasn't the MTV Awards where Pat Boone.
Okay, that's what I was. Sort of led the charge. People were I remember watching, and I was blown away. And then next thing you know, MTV picked up on it. Wish they still did it. I wish they still did.
James Bon Jovi was such a rocker, and now he's got a 2-bit shit bar on Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you go with the money. All right, my honorable mention, unplugged honorable mentions. First one's Alice in Chains. So I'm a fan, and there's a lot of songs on there unplugged, but I'm going down in a hole.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
So that's just that they. I don't even want to say that they were grunge. I don't want to label Alice in Chains as grunge. I don't know, Percy, you have an opinion on that or not. I know you're not a big.
I would have to
Alice.
say probably so.
Yeah, they were so good. I love the song. Their Unplugged is great. My next is by a band that we all appreciate. I know, Stone Temple Pilots, when they did Plush. I mean, Waylon was in that rocking chair with a sweater on,
Sir.
and it was such a vibe. It was just so cool. So I had to make sure that at least made an honorable mention. My last honorable mention is Nirvana, and I really struggled because I thought their Unplugged was the best album that Nirvana had.
Yes,
To me personally, it showcased them. I thought, and that's where we learned who Pat Smear was because he showed up with a terrible name. But I'm going, and it's not wishly. I'm going with Something in the Way. Just thought, oh, that had such an eerie, cool vibe to
I
it,
love that.
and in fact, their music was so much better unplugged to me than plugged in, if you will. All right. So top five.
Well,
Percy.
if your honorable mentions,
Oh, let's sit here. I skipped you.
that's fine.
No. What's your honorable mentions?
I mean, if there's your honorable mentions, I'm really fired up to see your top five.
You
It
got
was
how many honorable mentions you got?
Well, I got one. My very first favorite honorable mention. I don't know if it's really considered MTV Unplugged. It was filmed for MTV and it was unplugged.
Okay.
It's the Eagles, Hotel California. If not,
It's not MTV Unplugged, but I mean, it's like you had the Eagles did that. With Mac essentially won that book,
Yeah.
but it was just like their separate concerts. They said.
well, I can't.
But it was pretty
You're good.
much.
You're good. Pretty much. It was
But
unplugged.
There were several of those jokes. I mean, even before all this went off the rails
And it did go off the rails.
in the late
Yeah.
in the late '70s, the Dead did an album called Reckoning, and it's pretty much unplugged. It's acoustic, the whole thing.
Well, okay. Well, I got
What you got?
we got one that's LL Cool J.
Oh my goodness.
Mama said, "Mom, you back."
But
That was several different
the
rap.
problem with that is, and I would have picked that song, but it's not on Apple Music anywhere.
Is it not?
No, I couldn't find it,
Wow.
but I would have picked that song.
So I remember watching that happen.
Got knocked out.
Yeah. By Mama. And then I got 10,000 Maniacs.
Oh, they had a
Come on.
great unplugged.
Which one?
Oh,
I was gonna guess that.
2009.
Yeah, I like Don't Speak
That's good too.
or Don't Talk.
Don't talk.
Don't Talk.
Don't speak.
Don't Speak was
no doubt.
yeah, no doubt.
It was
All right.
funny.
All right.
Yeah. But if I can't do that Eagles, I'll do Nirvana.
Which one?
P Royalty.
Oh boy, that's a good one
Yep.
too. Good choices. All right, good stuff. All right, number 5, Purse. What you got?
My number 5 is been my favorite song from this band forever, and I'm not a huge fan of this band, and we've already did their episode, and it's Peter Criss singing Beth.
I love Beth.
I love that's a great song.
I mean, that's just, and that really brought them back,
It did.
and it also everybody found that, hey boys, put the makeup back.
Really, it's 4 guys in a group, and they took that bring back board back up. Me, that's a don't agree.
Yes, sir.
Right, right, good choice. Yeah, and when these artists would come out and go unplugged, it just seemed like such a chill, relaxed vibe when they did it.
Yeah.
It was they set the tone early on for just a real treat where you could really sort of hear.
Kind of dig into your soul,
That's it.
their soul.
Yes,
And
See what
they're
they were
putting
all about.
everything out there.
it was so good. All right, what's your number 5, Kevin?
I'm going to set this one up. So, my sister had to move in with us. She didn't live with us for a very long time. She didn't live with us for a very long time. So whenever she moved into our house, I had a bunk bed in my bedroom because I had a lot of friends over all the time, and she she had to move in. So my dad cut my bunk bed in half. I got the short side, she got the tall side. Okay. So I did not have a radio in my bedroom or any kind of boombox or
No.
nothing in my bedroom. So she had a radio, a stereo in her bedroom, and she was a huge fan of this person. And this was really what got me into music 100% when I was younger. Not necessarily the only thing, but so I would crawl out of my bed after everybody fell asleep, and I would crawl under my sister's bed and listen to her radio
That's
all
terrible.
night long.
So
And
terribly good, actually.
I'd bring my pillow and my blanket, and I would listen to her radio under her bed.
Did it have a cassette recorder?
It did have a cassette recorder.
Yeah, you can make that's
The story of this song came from because my sister could sing this song so very, very well. But it's Alanis Morissette.
Yay.
She had a great unplugged.
You did.
An absolute great unplugged, and it was You Ought to Know.
You ought to know. Unplugged. Good one.
I love that song
Good choice.
because of my sister. Even though we have our problems these days, I still love
well,
her for that. I
yeah.
still love her for that.
That's a good story. I like that. Good stuff. Wilkie, you got a 5?
I do. And dedicated to my wife,
Oh,
Rod Stewart. Have I told you lately?
that,
Unplug and see.
that to me was one of the best unplugged.
And it was so hard for Rod to stay seated.
It was.
And he cried during that
He
scene.
did.
He got choked up.
You hear this every
The
second.
thing that boy, his wife gave him a dozen red roses after he sang that. And he sang it to his wife. Great choice.
Ron Wood was on there with him.
Oh, man, you're showing me up. Huh?
Yeah, if it hadn't been for Ron Wood, show would have been half of what it was.
Ron made that show
I agree.
so much better. I still had full voice, so that was a great episode. All right. My number 5, Pearl Jam. I'll go with Oceans.
Yes.
That's a good song. And it's a love song that Eddie wrote for his surfboard. And he mentions that in the Unplugged concert where, I mean, this guy's just out there, thinking about we can catch the next one together. It's like he was having a love affair with his surfboard. So I just love the song. All right. Number 4, Curse.
Number 4 for me, it's already been mentioned, and it's from a group that I was not a fan of till I saw in concert on Halloween night.
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
And Mr. Scott Whelan on that night dressed up as Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Had a poncho and a hat, didn't he?
And it's plush.
Yeah.
And after that night, I left a huge STP fan.
Yeah. And I had mentioned House and Chains, not grunge, maybe, maybe not. And I got mostly disagreements, but STP was a rock band, I thought.
Well, it's the same. Is it if you listen to Sirius and they have this yacht rock channel,
Yes.
they just like what?
Just dump it in there.
Let's get a cat shit scooper out and see what we can
And we-
scoop up and throw into
The
the.
third Lakers on the yacht rock, and they're like, really?
Yeah, we got this rock coming up with Scotty Martin. And not everything is really, it's just, you're right. A lot of shit got lumped in there.
To me, it's kind of a feel for me with that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like we have a boss that loves that channel, and the problem is there's only like 40, maybe 50 songs in 8 hours. You're going to hear the same song twice.
You're going to hear a lot of hot skags.
And you're going to hear Christopher Cross probably 6 times.
Run like the wind.
Yacht rock is kind of reclassified in these days. There's a new classification as dad rock,
Yeah, it's very, yeah, I get that.
and that's kind of the grunge episode.
Yeah,
Pablo
I like
Cruz.
that. Pablo. I don't want to steal lines on Kevin. That was your 4. Kevin, what's your 4?
You're not gonna like it.
All right. I might.
I'm still a 7th and 8th grader at heart on this one, but I like corn,
Yeah.
not the vegetable.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like it. Nobody's gonna like it. It's
Corn
fine.
with a K.
It is corn with a K and a backwards R.
Yes.
And what if that corn comes out whole when you shit it?
Oh!
When I listen to it, it makes me want to.
What is it about corn? You can chew the hell out of it and it still comes out whole. And corn, you gotta love it.
Everybody loves it.
But if you listen to corn or you go spit out a corn CD, a whole CD.
All right, we get corn. Corn's maple. Leave it to you. But yeah,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Their unplugged was. I'm gonna go ahead and mention this. Their unplugged was absolute garbage, except for one song,
All right.
and it was "Freak on a Leash." And the only thing that made it great was a ma'am named Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Yes, yes.
When she
Andy
came-
could sing.
Whenever she came into that song, I mean, absolute chills, head to toe.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out, and it will be on. Can't wait for this playlist. Actually, this one.
This, do not put the rest of that unplugged on the playlist.
My
Please.
friend,
What? Oh man.
Put one song. One play. All right. Play one song, please. It'd be a great song.
Pearl Jam. Cheated back and forth between a couple, but I'm going even flow.
Yes.
I had that or black. And I was,
I was between Alive, Even Flow, and Oceans. Good choice. Kevin. My number 4 is by a legend that Percy got to see this past summer at the Orion, Neil Young.
yes,
Neil had a great plug.
he did. It was
And
CD, and it's
I do too.
amazing.
There's not a bad song on it. It was great. It was broke down. Neil Young, I think, was built for Unplugged.
What I want to say about the Unplugged is, and I think it was like the opening track that Neil did. This Unplugged, a lot of these artists would pick up songs that they hadn't done in years that were some deep cuts off some albums. And I found that always really interesting.
Yeah. Well, the selection I went with, and it was hard to pick just one because he had so many. I went with Unknown Legend. That's a great.
I mean, you can't go
Great
wrong with
stories.
any one of those.
No. All right. Wilkie, did we get yours?
You did.
All right. It's nitty gritty time. Percy.
My number 3 is, I don't have to worry about anybody picking this song, but it's from Rod Stewart's Unplugged. And it's a song originally recorded by Eddie Cochran in 1960.
I was almost thinking you were going to steal mine.
And Eddie Cochran, recorded Summertime Blues.
Is it?
And Rod actually originally recorded this on Gasoline Alley.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that for the longest, but the song is Cut Across Short.
I knew you were going to get this selected. I knew you loved that song. Yeah, that's a great choice. Good stuff.
That's a great song. Cut Across Shorty, Shorty Cut Across.
Yeah, good stuff.
Because it's you I want to win.
Yeah, good one. Kevin?
I'm really glad you didn't pick Black because that's my number.
All right. What's this cool song?
How can you go wrong with that one?
You can't.
Actually, me and Mike. The reason why I picked Black was he dared me to sing it in karaoke.
I did. You did it. I did. And you killed it.
It was just a great memory, and I told you this is coming back to memories for me.
Yes. All right. So this
This is one of my memories.
picking up on that. Good stuff. All right. Wilkie, what's your three?
My three is Alice in Chains, but I'm going with Heaven Beside You
Oh, they did
because I love that song.
they did such a great job on that. That's a tough one.
I wish I would have got that.
Yeah.
I wish I.
Their
Man.
harmony was great in it. It was they just brought it down. So good. My number three is by another legend that I wish I would have been able to see in concert, but he's got a movie out about him, Bob Dylan. And not everybody's going to know this song. Percy might know it. Wilkie might. Kevin? Possibly. Shooting Star. And it's not that company's Shooting Star. It's
Yes.
Bob Dylan's Shooting Star.
Yeah.
I saw a Shooting Star tonight. So, and I thought of you. Great song. All right. Rounding the bend. Number two. Percy.
My number two, and we talked about this in the Losers Lounge before we came into the studio, and I got to see Neil in concert,
You did.
like you mentioned, this past year. And I went with one of our guests, former guest,
Right.
and avid listener, Bright Long. And we kept staring at the stage. There was something like way high up on the stage, and we're like, what is that
What
up
the
there
hell's
for?
going on?
And they lowered it down, and Willie's boy, Micah, it was almost like a mini organ, and he played the intro to that, and they did Like a Hurricane.
Oh, boy.
And it's still just as great when they did it on Unplugged,
Yeah.
Like a Hurricane.
That's good stuff.
But like to say, you can take any song.
Neil was amazing
That album.
when he did the song. I mean, he had organ.
Man,
And then that.
those I don't want to mention it. I don't think it's gonna be on nobody else's, but I mean, when he did Hank the Hendrix, and Helpless,
Yeah.
and it's those on.
It's a beautiful album. That Unplugged album is absolutely
And
beautiful.
Even the spoon was good too.
Yes.
Neil's music almost set up perfect. A lot of the artists had to rework their stuff, but his kind of set up
Neil
perfect.
was made, he was, like I said, he was built for Unplugged.
I'm surprised Heart of Gold wasn't on there.
No, right? Hardest Moon was, though.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, it's your turn.
Whenever Percy said "Losers Lounge," he just looked directly in me.
I appreciate that first.
Well, that's why
That's Ringo Starr.
I get that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Number two, Lake of Fire, Nirvana.
All right.
That is my absolute favorite.
I knew you like that song.
Entire Unplugged of Nirvana. Obviously, honestly, it was the most listened to, the most popular,
Mhm.
or the most views or listens, or whatever you want to call it. But, Lake of Fire is my favorite out of Nirvana, and
Awesome choice. Awesome choice.
that is my favorite.
Yeah, I knew you liked it. I forgot. So, good one. Wilkie?
My number two is one of my favorite rock bands. It's Stone Temple Pilots. I'm going with Wicked Garden.
Oh, they just get after it.
They do.
They get after it. Yeah, love it.
They do.
Yeah, my number two. No one's going to have this. It is from Rod Stewart. The song was written by Tom Waits, so Percy's gonna know it. Wookie's gonna know it. Tom Trevor's Blues, Waltz and Matilda. I absolutely adore that song.
It's great.
Yeah. The imagery in that when Tom Waits sings it versus Rod Stewart, there's vocal differences.
All the vocals in that on the Rod Stewart Unplugged were amazing. But to me,
Good.
the greatest visual in that whole Unplugged was watching him try to stand still and see
He couldn't.
while they're doing "Stay with Me."
Yeah.
He tried to get up several times and had to be down.
Where he's just kicking his leg.
It wasn't great. He did not want to sit still.
Glad rag and hand rag's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The whole thing
The whole
was. All right. Number one. I know what Percy's is.
We probably all got the same.
I think we probably all got the same number one. I just want to see if we do this.
Anybody want to put bets in it?
I will not.
I will not be the same as yours.
Right. Let's hear it.
This may be quite possibly my favorite song and version ever.
All right.
And it's from the Eric Clapton. Everybody knows how I love Slow Hand.
Yep.
And he recorded an electric version of this a few years earlier. And this song was written by Jerry Lynn Williams. And I had forgotten until I watched this episode that Chuck Leavell played on this episode.
Yeah. And he called him out. Clapton called him out during that. He said Chuck Leavell.
And I'm disappointed because I forgot this song for the Slide episode. It's Running on Faith.
Oh boy. Yeah, I know that's what you're going
But I think we all know what else can a poor boy do.
That's right. It's just such a great song. Kevin, I can't wait to hear what your number one is.
It's so hard to choose. I got two number ones. I don't have two number ones, but I do.
Okay.
But the first thing that came to my head was Rooster, because I love the song, and I have a recent. It's Alice in Chains, and I have a recent memory of this. It's my dad.
Yeah.
You know, he was in the army.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
you know, he toured.
Yeah.
And he listened to this song with me a week ago, whenever I was doing some
Had he
research
ever heard
on
it
it.
before?
Never heard it before.
Did it resonate with him?
He said, "Oh my God." I let him read the lyrics while he was listening to it. He said, "This is probably one of my favorite songs that I've ever listened to."
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you know the song, everybody knows what it's about. Here comes the rooster.
Yeah.
It's not
He ain't gonna die. Yeah.
He ain't gonna.
Yeah. And it was one of the band members' dads.
It was
it
Lane's dad.
Yeah.
No, it
Lane's
was
dad. Huh?
Cantrell's Day.
Cantrell's
Can-
dad.
It's
Cantrell's
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's weird. 'Cause today I was scrolling on Facebook and the Rooster, I think he was pulling Lane Staley over a guardrail
seen
in
that.
a concert. And it's this shit is weird. We talk about that how it just came up on Facebook.
And now here we're talking. Shit happens to us all the time.
Let's say that.
All right. So what is your number one?
I wanted to mention that because it was one of my favorite stories.
It's
recent. It's solid story and it's recent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the story. A friend of mine a long time ago, it's about 2010, he had a vasectomy.
Ouch.
Don't hurt.
It was the Friday.
One.
It was the Friday afternoon. He had a vasectomy, and the next Monday he came in. You know, it was he recovered over the weekend pretty much. It's not a very invasive. So the next Monday when he came in, I played Creed
Oh yeah.
by Stone Temple Pilots
Yeah. It's a great song.
literally all day. And I don't know if you know the lyrics of this song, but it says, "I'm half the man that I used to be."
I know it, and that's it. And you were rubbing it in.
All day,
So
8 hours.
of Creek. That's
Another buddy of mine, he worked in the office. I was working at Howard Bentley at the time. Another buddy of mine printed out the lyrics, taped it on his toolbox, and nobody liked me in that shop.
that's a great story. That's terrible, too. In a funny way.
It's definitely has some things.
Wilkie.
My number one by Eric Clapton. I'm going with Tears in Heaven.
Oh, that's a great one. That
Classic.
The true story. I mean,
son.
That's another album that you can take any of those songs. You can take Sign, you can take Alberta, you can take Malted Milk, you can take Before You
Having on
Lose
Fire.
Me,
So,
Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out.
yeah,
Yeah. The
that's
house.
great. See, Percy, I was right. We got the same number one.
Really, this kind of
Running on Faith.
I really thought you'd have.
Wow.
I first would have Layla.
Running on Faith.
this song. I've
Me
never
is-
heard the electric version
Yeah, which is good,
but-
but
before this. When I heard this song just
it'll capture you because we've all there, and some of us still are. I run on faith every day.
Absolutely.
I don't know about
Oh.
y'all, but I'm still running on faith.
I'd rather run on faith than run on empty.
That's it. I got faith, so it's an important thing. So everybody did good. The lists were great. It's going to be a great playlist.
I'm pretty surprised we didn't walk over each other on some of them.
We really didn't as much as I thought we would. There was plenty to choose from. Percy, you got to pick this week.
I do, and this happens occasionally. I'm actually going to have two this week.
All right.
And these may surprise you just because of the groups they are. But the first one I'm going with was the 10,000 Maniacs when they did Jolene.
Yeah, they did. They had
It's
great
nice.
ones.
So many covers of that song.
The next
So many.
is the Smithereens. They did a medley of Cupid and Chain Gang. It's not the greatest performance, but
My heart stopped.
my
Percy picked the Smithereens.
my dad truly loved Sam Cooke.
Okay. Well,
And
I
that-
love Sam Cooke.
And I do too, but that's where I got it from.
I got you. But they did a good cover.
Believe me, I've had enough another Saturday nights. I know.
Yeah. Good job. Percy and the Smithereens, you'd never put that together in a million years. Good choice. Everybody had good choices. Next week, we got Brad Gibson coming in, and we're tackling the one and only Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, I love Gordo.
Who's from
Everything
real folks.
Gordon. It's gonna be,
You know what?
He's okay. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah,
we're going to tackle all his. If someone covered anything, it's everything Gordon.
like we did with Ringo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's kind of like this is our songwriter series.
Yes.
Well,
this
you know,
would
they
be
don't have
part of
to-
the songwriters.
Because they wrote it. or
Personally,
they-
I'm a Gordon fan.
Me too.
I'm in that generation though that I loved it, and he just Canadian folk. But go USA, and I hope
Let's-
they beat the absolute piss out of Canada tonight.
Sorry,
Hope they square off.
Sorry, Gordon.
Yeah.
He's got a hat. Eddie Murphy said when he was the fifth Beatle, boys, they got a behind whooping.
Behind what they come from. So anyway, that's coming. That's we're I think all about to head out and go watch that game. So Kevin, thanks. Come back again. We got to get you to 10, man.
Yeah, this
And
we're getting
then
we're getting
we'll
close.
get there. Wilkie, good job chiming in. First, love to everybody. And all I got to say is, what do we got to say, Percy?
Well, we are shitty but consistent.
Yes. And all I got to say is, bye bye.